They're scared. They're scared of the American public knowing what they're doing. They're scared of a girl with chalk and a camera. I mean, really. It is day 4 of Chalkist, and I am, where else? At my congresswoman's office, Diana Harshbarger in Kingsport, Tennessee. I showed up last night to do some chalking so that Diana and her staff would have some colorful messages to greet them when they came in to the office this morning. And I fully expected them to be gone by now, but they're actually still there. So I don't know if they just didn't have enough buckets of water, didn't have enough time, or they've just given up. But I have a fun creative idea for today, and so I'm going to go out and do a little bit of chalking. When I pulled in down at the intersection down here, I actually passed Diana's chief of staff, Zach, and he and we sat down on July 3rd, and we talked about the big ugly bill. And, I had offered to come back and bring some information that might enlighten them to, what they were voting on, what they were supporting. And he agreed and said, yeah, you can come back and give me your receipts. Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't realize that your policy was based on anecdotal experiences and not actual data and statistics.
And you think your data and statistics point to something different? I can tell you this.
Yes,
this
I would be happy. I will go home. I will go home right now, and I will make a book of all of the data. I will bring you the receipts. How long are you going to be here? I will come back and I will sit down with you and I will bring you every single receipt of everything that I'm saying. Are you willing to do that? Are you going to be? What time will you be gone today?
8 p.m.
You're going to be on at 8 p.m. If I come back here before 8 p.m., will you sit down with me and go over these receipts?
Absolutely.
Okay, I will be back then.
Absolutely.
Let's do that. And then he texted me an hour later and said that he just wasn't available to meet and he wouldn't be available to meet. So I find that really interesting. But what I find more interesting is the fact that at that sit down with Zach, he told me that Diana Harshbarger's mobile offices, her satellite offices were staffed, they set up and, meet with constituents around the Tri-Cities area or around District 1. He told me that those mobile offices were still standing and that they were happening every month. And I asked him to advertise them on social media so that constituents know when and where their staff is going to be, because I think that's an important part of having a mobile office, is actually letting people know where they can show up to talk to staff. And Zach told me they were standing, but I've heard recently that these mobile offices were canceled. And I've been trying to find out if that's true or not and what the schedule is, but I can't seem to get through to anybody at Diana's office to find out when the mobile offices are or if they've been canceled. I have called the DC office and they had no idea what a mobile office even was. I call the Kingsport office here, but they don't pick up when I call ever. It goes straight to voicemail. I emailed Zach, and I also emailed Cody, another one of Diana's staff members that I've spoken with in the past, and I asked them both, are these mobile offices standing? Are they canceled? What's the schedule? How can people show up to talk? And I haven't gotten a response. Nobody will let me know when and where these mobile offices are and if they have been canceled and why her mobile offices have suddenly been canceled. Almost like Diana and her staff are hiding from the constituents that she's elected to represent. Well, anyway, Zach, if you're seeing this, please send me an email back. Let me know when the mobile offices are or if they've been canceled, and let me know when Diana's town hall is going to be, her August recess town hall, because August is the time when she's supposed to be in the district actually talking to her constituents, but I'm willing to bet she's on the way to some photo op right now instead of actually talking to the people that she represents. Anyway, I'm gonna get out here. We're gonna do a little bit of a little creative chalking and just keep making our voice heard. Good afternoon. I'm doing good. How about yourself? I will. You too. So now they've got the cops patrolling the building, just checking on me, making sure I'm doing the right thing. I have spoken with a police officer who let me know that I've got a First Amendment right. I'm not being obscene, and this is public property. So, oh well. I'd say today was a pretty productive day, a very creative day. Oh my gosh, I have chalk on my, well, I have chalk everywhere. Yeah, that's probably gonna happen. It's a pretty productive day, and I met several very, very supportive locals. I have been out here for months in this community, in this town, protesting and chalking and wearing anti-Trump t-shirts and being very unapologetic about where I stand and how I feel. This is the second reddest district in the entire country. It's supposed to be MAGA town. And Diana loves to use that talking point, like she did at her town hall when she said, you know, it's the second reddest district. You're all God-fearing, gun-toting patriots, or whatever it is she said. Everybody loves what's going on. People love Trump's policies. They love what she's doing. They love the big ugly bill. And anybody who disagrees, anybody who doesn't like it, is just some out-of-town paid protester. As if we're not the ones actually doing the work for the community, the work that she should be doing, fighting for them, and raising awareness about the fact that they're about to lose their health care, they're about to lose their food stamps. We're experiencing homelessness that is just on the rise like crazy in this area. People can't afford food. Diana really likes to make a point that, you know, we're just troublemakers. And I'm out here in the heat every day trying to raise awareness, trying to put the pressure. And I didn't start this way. I started by calling her office. A lot of people don't, you know, they've been following me for a little while, or they've just kind of peeked in, and they haven't been following me throughout this journey and saw that in November, I was kind of wishy-washy. Like, do I really want to talk about politics? Like, I'm really getting nervous, but I don't want to really get into that. That's not what my channel's for. And I want to find ways to actually make a positive impact. And it's always what I've wanted. So I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going to shift gears on this channel necessarily. I don't know what's going to happen with this channel. I might keep going. I might keep doing what I'm doing. I don't know. I'm not making any quick decisions. But I want to contribute positively to help all of my fellow Americans. And that includes people I don't agree with. That includes Christians. That includes all of the people that I've been talking about on this channel. We're not the enemy, and I don't want to be the enemy. So I hope you'll join me in trying to find small ways to heal yourself and be compassionate to others. Big ways to heal yourself and small ways to be compassionate to others. That's not too big of an ask, right? And then after things started happening, I just realized that I have to use my platform.
Hello, friends, and welcome back to my channel. If you don't already know, my name is Christy, and this channel is all about deconstructing. Normally, I would say it's all about deconstructing our former evangelical, fundamentalist, and conservative Christian ideologies, which is always such a mouthful when I say it. But I am shifting gears a little bit here and widening the lens, so to speak. And I want to talk about it because I've changed my mind since my last video. I posted a kind of off-the-cuff video of my thoughts and feelings post-election. And I said that the political conversation, I didn't want it to set the tone for future videos. And I didn't want to get into politics. And I wanted to stay focused on what I was doing. But I changed my mind.
I have, you know, at the time I didn't even have 100,000 people here, but now I do. And this is the most important thing to me. And so I did the right thing. I called her office over and over again. I was nice at first. I showed up at her town hall, and yeah, I did some yelling, but she did some lying, a lot of lying. That's all she did was lie. And so I called the office and I got nothing. They wouldn't return my calls. They wouldn't do anything. She is solely working for Trump, not for the people of her district. And that's what radicalized me. That being ignored, being discarded, watching the congresswoman of the district that I live in actively work to harm everybody around me, all of these vulnerable people, so that she could fill her pockets, so she could please her corporate donors, so she could stay on the Trump train for whatever reason. She's got her motivations, but she's a very wealthy woman. And I was just reading about how she didn't grow up as a wealthy woman. So I'm wondering how she got there, because I know it wasn't just her pharmacy. It wasn't just her small town pharmacy that got her where she is today. It's probably all of those, the stock trading that she was doing, but not telling people about when she violated the Stock Act. And now suddenly she just has no stocks whatsoever. They're in a, some sort of a trust that she doesn't have anything to do with, I'm sure. Which, by the way, not sure if this is still accurate, but when she was first running, there was an article I found recently that said that her pastor's wife was her financial advisor. So I wonder if her pastor's wife is the one that's doing all of the trading for her, but it really doesn't matter. The point is that she's not listening. She's not doing anything for her district. She doesn't meet with her constituents. She does not care about anybody in this area except for the people that are filling her pockets and the people that are praising her, which isn't many. Because I'm out here all the time, and yes, I've had the occasional, insult or bird flipped or whatever. People get mad. But it's rare compared to how often people tell me, I support what you're doing. I like what you're doing. People that you would never expect. I can't tell you how many times somebody has walked up to me while I'm chalking or while I'm protesting, and they have that look, and I'm like, oh boy, what are they going to say? What are they going to do? What's going to happen? And I expect it to be, anger or negativity. And they come up and they say, I really like what you're doing. And so it's obvious that the congresswoman has no idea what's going on in her district. She doesn't know how people feel and how they think because she doesn't answer their calls. She doesn't read their emails. She doesn't listen to them. She won't hold a town hall. She doesn't care because she's in a position of power and she's going to do whatever she can to stay there. And everybody else can just kick rocks. I think people are waking up, and I want people watching this video to understand that I live in the second reddest district in the United States, that there should be Trump-loving patriots all over the place, according to, Diana. There should be MAGA signs and stickers and hats and people walking up to me getting angry at me. But instead, I have overwhelming support and hardly anybody with anything bad to say. And I want that to give you hope. We have the President of the United States who campaigned on releasing the files, and all of his administration, Bondi, Patel, Bongino, whatever his name is, who constantly pushed this conspiracy about all these Democrats being in the files. We're going to take them down. We're going to take down the deep state. They're running all of these, trafficking rings, and they're all pedophiles, and we're going to take them down. Trump's going to get in there. I mean, do you guys remember after Donald Trump tried to overthrow the government using his own supporters with a violent attack on the Capitol, an attack on the police officers at the Capitol? After he did that, I remember seeing all of these conspiracy posts from the QAnon folks who were saying he's coming back. Don't you worry, he's coming back, and he's gonna take over, and he's gonna expose all these people. And Epstein was the focus of the right wing. It is what they built their platforms on. It's what they campaigned on. And they all promised, we're going to release it all. And then Pam Bondi gets the files and she says, I've got it right on my desk. I've got the list right on my desk. I'm going to be going over it. It's my duty. Trump tasked me with this. And now all of a sudden, when it comes time to vote to release the files, every single Democrat voted to release the files. Almost every single Republican voted against it, or they ran away. They went on early recess and they ran away like scared little children and couldn't face the possibility that their dear leader is in those files, was best friends with Jeffrey Epstein for 15 years, admitted by both Trump and Epstein. They both have said it. Best friends for 15 years.
Sexually abusing them as minors. Epstein and Trump were known to be good friends, and in the deposition, he was asked directly.
Have you ever socialized with Donald Trump in the presence of females under the age of 18?
Epstein pauses, shakes his head, then answers.
Though I'd like to answer that question, at least today, I'm going to have to assert my 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendment rights, sir.
And instead of releasing the files like they said they were going to do, they said they were going to do it. They ran off to make a deal with a convicted sex trafficker who has been convicted in a court of law of harming young women, teenage girls, of meeting these girls at Trump's spa where they were towel girls? Why is my congresswoman, why is she not doing anything about it? Why won't she speak up? Why won't she say a word? This is unheard of. This is outrageous. This is so anti-American, anti-Christian for a Baptist woman who claims that she got into politics so she could share the love of Jesus with everyone, is now protecting and covering for a predator? Why? Why would she do that? And why does she think she's going to get away with it? Because everyone around here is waking up. We know what's going on. We're not stupid. You all thought that you had us trapped in our little online algorithmic bubbles. And I was. I did think it was hopeless. I thought everybody was just MAGA. Half the country voted for this. No, they did not. About a quarter of the country voted for this. Do the math. It's about 25-30% of Americans voted for this. And just because they voted for this doesn't mean they like what's happening right now. Because people are waking up. Donald Trump is losing support every single day. I know it. They know it. She knows it. So she's freaking out. She's scrambling. She doesn't know what to do. I get here with some chalk and they're calling the police. I pull in the lot and all the staff gets in their cars and they run away. They're scared. They're scared of the American public knowing what they're doing. They're scared of a girl with chalk and a camera. I mean, really, that's what they're afraid of. Because they know they're hiding something, they know they're doing something wrong, and they know they're going to get caught by the American public. And once enough people wake up, mobilize, and get together, these people won't have their seats anymore. They can count their days in their seat as a congressperson, as a senator, as a governor. The resistance is growing, and I refuse to be a defeatist. I refuse to give up. And I can tell you guys, if you are one of those people that's like, no, we're all doomed. MAGA people aren't waking up. Half the country wants this. If you are one of those people, I just want you to please consider the fact that I am out here every day. I am in the community. I am very, very active in all of this and meeting people all the time. And the people that you would least expect it are some of my biggest supporters. They don't have to mess with an election if they can just convince you that you shouldn't vote, that it's pointless. Convince you to go around telling everyone else it's pointless. Everything's doomed. Why vote? We're not going to have free and fair elections anyway. That is the tactic. That is how they take it, by convincing you that it's hopeless and that you shouldn't vote. So I'm asking you to turn that around and to understand that the people that are actually out here, we have a good feel for the climate. And I am not hopeless. In fact, every day I get more hope. Every day I become more confident that we can do this. And unlike the January 6th traitors that Trump pardoned and that Diana supports the pardons of, unlike them, I'm not trying to take my country back just for me, just for Democrats, just for my own idea of how I want the country to be run. I want to take the country back for everyone, including people who voted for Diana, people who voted for Trump, who are struggling, who are vulnerable, and who were tricked and victimized by this system. Because they are victims. And I know a lot of people don't like to hear me say that. They think it takes responsibility. And no, we're all responsible for ourselves. But at the same time, you have to understand the reality of the situation we're living in, where nothing is affordable. People are working multiple jobs to make ends meet, trying to take care of their kids because, they've made abortion illegal here and forcing women to have babies that they can't afford and they don't want. And then not taking care of the rising cost of housing, not taking care of the rising cost of groceries, not caring about our economy, not caring about our education and our food and our health care, taking it all away from us. Why do they take it all away from us? Because they want us to be so tired, so overworked, so defeated that we don't have the time, the energy, or the desire to rise up and resist this. They are victimizing us. They are trying to make it so that we can't fight back. But I'm telling you that I am fighting back, and I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep coming back. I'm going to keep applying the pressure, and I will do whatever it takes to preserve my own freedom, my democracy, and the future and the freedoms of everyone else, including people that don't like me, including people that don't agree with me. Because I believe in a future where we can be well and we can have life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. That's what it's all about, right? Just life, liberty, and happiness. It's that simple. Keep the hope. Don't feel defeated. If you are struggling, if you're concerned, if you're worried, you're scared, that's normal. It's natural. That is a natural response to what we're experiencing right now. So acknowledge that. Let yourself feel it. But then, when you've given yourself some care and some love, channel your fears and your anxieties into action. Do something. Do anything. Make a phone call to your congressperson. And I think a lot of people think it's hopeless. She thinks that people aren't, upset or angry because they're not calling her, they're not telling her. And those people aren't telling her not because they don't care, but because they feel so defeated. They feel like it's so pointless. They're being ignored. But I promise you, they use those calls, they use this action to gauge how much of the community is upset and how likely it is that she's going to lose her seat in 2026. So the more you apply pressure, the more you let her know, she might not change her mind. It's not about changing her mind. It's about letting her know how many people are going to vote her out of that seat. So I'm asking you to please do that. And, if you want to grab some chalk, do your thing in your city, just make sure you check the local ordinances, do it the right way. I had a police officer walk up, a very, very nice guy who encouraged me to stay hydrated, supported my First Amendment right, gave me some tips on how to make sure that I'm not doing anything obscene or anything that the cops would have a problem with, and was just very friendly and very supportive of me using my rights, and very thankful that I did the work to make sure that this is legal. I'm allowed to be doing this. Because I want to respect the community that I live in, but I don't respect the congresswoman because she doesn't respect us. So there needs to be a line there. We can be nice, we can be kind, we can be compassionate and empathetic. We can be all of those things, but we don't have to be doormats, and we don't have to cooperate with fascism. We don't have to cooperate with authoritarian overreach. This is not something we cooperate with. And I'm going to make sure she knows I'm not cooperating with it. And maybe, Diana, if you're watching this, which I'm sure you don't, it probably puts you in too much of a frenzy, but I know that, your staff is watching this. And all Diana has to do is actually start doing her job, make a statement. I've written it on the concrete, and I've said it many times. If Diana makes a statement demanding accountability and transparency of the Epstein files and to release them, and speaks out against this deal with Ghislaine, whatever's happening there, if she does that, I'll go chalk somewhere else. I'll stop coming up here. I will. So it's up to her. If she doesn't like this, she doesn't like what I'm doing, she can just make a statement, which is literally her job. But if she doesn't want to make a statement, then she's going to have to deal with the pressure. And, she might just need to say a few extra prayers each night to get through each day. I don't know. But I have a feeling Jesus isn't picking up the phone for her anymore.